What's going on, YouTube? This is Brian916. Thanks for tuning in. In this particular video, I wanted to talk about the last video that I uploaded, the $370 worth of Snap-on products versus the $370 worth of Harbor Freight products that we bought. I mean, you guys seen how much stuff we had from Harbor Freight. I mean, we had way more stuff. And with that, all that stuff, we're able to do more work in the shop, be more productive, get more cars fixed, get more people back on the road. We, in turn, earn more money, and everybody's happy. Okay, so in that video, a viewer left a comment, a viewer by the name of Chuck Heller. Shout out to Chuck. I think Chuck left a really good point, or a really good statement that he made, and I wanted to comment on that. But before I do that, I just watched a video by Bruce Allen. If you haven't checked out his channel, check him out. And the dude made a really good point about Snap-on's gonna have to lower their price because, you know, technicians are out there buying, you know, quality tools that, you know, perform as good or if not better than Snap-on. And, you know, eventually to keep up, you know, you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to lower their price, you know what I mean? And I can think off the top of my head, excuse me, if you buy a Milwaukee impact gun, I mean, those things are, you know, better than the Snap-on electric impact guns. So, you know, Snap-on would have to lower their price to be able to compete. Otherwise, we would just buy a Milwaukee. You know, that's one example that I can think of. There's plenty of examples out there. Even some of the Chicago pneumatic impact guns, man, those things are really good. I worked with a guy who had nothing but Chicago pneumatic stuff, and that stuff was good, man. You know, I was impressed by it. So, Bruce, you know, shout out to Bruce again. I couldn't agree more with that video. I think he was on point. Eventually, Snap-on is going to have to come down and you know, stop charging so much. Because every time I look at their prices, I don't know about you, but I see the fangs. You know, that's what I see. I see the fangs are out. So anyway, let me get back to the topic and address the customer who made the comment. So basically, what Chuck was saying was, he buys Snap-on tools because A, he wants to keep Americans employed and support America, which is good. And then the second point was that, will those Harbor Freight tools last a year from now? We see that the Snap-on tools last. In the video, I showed that I bought those a little under a year ago. So his point is that the Harbor Freights are not going to last. So let me address those 2 points. And I got some fun facts for you guys too that I did some research on. So first of all, let's talk about, will those tools last? Well, Chuck, yes, they will last, my friend. I have a Pittsburgh engine shop crane, engine hoist. I've been having that thing forever, man. My floor jacks from Pittsburgh I've had for a long time. My tool cart, US General tool cart, I got like 2 of those things. I got some of them at home. I got some here. Yeah, I've had them for a really long time. Jack stands, you name it. But I also got some hand tools too, man, that I've put through rigorous use, and I'm gonna show those here in a minute. But let me address the other point about keeping Americans employed. So, you know, last time I checked, you know, Harbor Freight employs Americans too. Okay, so, you know, let's be fair to the situation. There are people who are employed by Harbor Freight. Okay, so, and the company I do believe is out of California. So it is an American company, and they do employ Americans. They just, you know, outsource their manufacturing overseas like so many companies do. Okay, and also I got some fun facts for you guys, and just wanted to address this flack that I get as it over Snap-on tools, as if Snap-on is the last dying hope of America, and if you don't buy Snap-on tools, then that's the last company on this planet that, or the last company that America has that manufactures goods. That's so far from the truth. Okay. First of all, you need to realize Snap-on sells tools on almost every continent on this planet. So even if you stop buying Snap-on tools, if every American stopped buying Snap-on tools, that company would not go under. They sell plenty of tools on other continents, believe me. So anyway, let's talk about some of the, before I show you some of my tools that I put through heavy use, Chuck, let me give you some fun facts here about American manufacturing. So yeah, I did some research on this. I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to read this. Okay. So it says, when you buy a gallon of gasoline, tip your hat to an American worker who made it. It says, fun facts. Refined oil is America's top manufactured goods. Most Americans use something every day that's made in America without ever thinking about where it's made. Gasoline. Crude oil may come from Canada or Saudi Arabia, but it's refined right here in America and exported overseas. Refined petroleum products such as gasoline, engine oils, jet fuel, and liquefied refined gases are America's top manufactured products, with a value of shipment going out the factory doors at nearly $700 billion. Okay, and it went on to explain that's like 4 times more than like other countries and stuff like that. So and then on the next statement, it says that America's other top manufacturing products are pharmaceuticals, airplanes, automobiles, iron and steel, animal slaughtering, plastics, organic materials, and petrochemicals. Okay, and then so I'll go on to read a little bit more of this. It says, despite what many may think, the U.S. exports a lot of manufactured goods, 1.3 trillion manufactured in the United States last year, 1.3 trillion worth of manufactured goods in 2015. It says last year, the leading exported manufactured goods was civilian airplanes worth 63 billion, followed by auto parts, 58 billion, pharmaceuticals, 55 billion, automobiles, 55 billion, and gasoline and diesel and other refined oil products. Okay, so it says among that, other top exports include semiconductors, telecommunication equipment, medical equipment, plastics, and airplane engines. And that's just listing a few of American manufactured goods that's being exported, where there's plenty of Americans holding these positions, working these jobs and stuff like that. So it's not as bleak as most people think it is in terms of, you gotta buy a Snap-on tool, otherwise, you're not, supporting American manufacturing. America is not in the tool business. This article clearly shows the business that they're in. Refined crude oil, petroleum products is America's bread and butter. And, it's steel, iron, civilian airplanes, things like that. So here's another fun fact for you too. Most of our recycled waste that we recycle, China buys most of that stuff from the United States. They'll make products and sell them over here, but they got the material from the United States to begin with. So the United States profits from Japan, or excuse me, from China, with China buying, U.S. scrap. So do a little bit of research on that, and you'll be surprised to find out that even some of Snap-on stuff is made in Taiwan, and some of licensed products are made in China too. So Real Tool Reviews did a video on that. Look it up. He's got some pretty good info on that. So not all Snap-on products are made in America as well. So anyway, let's take a look at some of the tools that I purchased that I've had, well over 5 years, and yeah, they do hold up. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we are. First item that I've bought from Pittsburgh that I've had for a really long time are these Allen sockets. As you can see, these things have been used quite a bit. You can see metal chipping off of them, almost all sizes that I've used. I've really put these Pittsburgh Allen sockets to use. I've had these for a really long time. I've taken head bolts off with Allen bolt style head bolts. Used these to torque head bolts on, you name it. And this is a Pittsburgh tool. So that's that. Next, these line wrenches. Got these line wrenches from Pittsburgh, or from Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh brand. Yeah, I've used these line wrenches to crack brake lines off, and fuel lines and everything else. And I've had no problem using these line wrenches from Harbor Freight. Next, this air ratchet. By the way, all these tools that I'm showing, 5 years plus. This is a quarter drive air ratchet, and most of their air ratchets suck. Maybe I got a good one, but I've had this quarter Central Pneumatic quarter ratchet for a really long time, and it's held up for me just fine. Next, I got these larger size wrenches. These are Pittsburgh wrenches. I've put these wrenches through their paces, and they're long, so I've put lots of leverage on these things, and never had an issue with rounding a fastener or the box end slipping or busting a knuckle, like people always say. If you buy a Pittsburgh, anything, you gotta bust a knuckle. I've never busted a knuckle, and I put a lot of leverage on those. Next, I got one of my favorite ratchets. I've had this for a really long time. Very good ratchet, very good. There's nothing bad I could say about this ratchet. Okay, if this thing was Snap-on, you jump on it in a heartbeat. All right, next, impact socket. Okay, the shallow are Craftsman impact sockets, but these top ones are Pittsburgh. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. That's a 30mm Pittsburgh right there. That's the same set we had in that video. And you can see these things have been used. Okay, I've had these for 5 years plus. I use these Pittsburgh impact sockets every day. I've never had no problems with these impact sockets whatsoever. Pittsburgh Harbor Freight. What else? Got this needle nose pliers. You can see I've had these for a while. I use them. Okay, this is Pittsburgh, and I use these all the time. Never had a problem with them. Okay, so these are some of the tools that I own by Harbor Freight. That's pretty much it for Harbor Freight. I did buy a earthquake impact gun from Harbor Freight, and you know, this thing, I haven't had it long enough to vouch for it, but I do believe that this thing will hold up. I mean, I take pretty good care of my stuff, but so this is a good product of theirs as well. Okay, so there it is. Here's the proof. This stuff here is well over a year, and I'm not even talking about like some of my jacks and jack stands and you know, other things that I've gotten from Harbor Freight that I use that, you know, still works good. I mean, I got a shop fan from Harbor Freight, step stools to when we're working on trucks from Harbor Freight. You know, I got a battery load tester that puts load on a battery just fine and is accurate. So there are things from Harbor Freight that work. They work well, and honestly, it all depends on the user. Okay, so if you don't use the tool properly, it's probably not going to work for you, and you probably shouldn't buy a Harbor Freight tool if you know you're going to take a ratchet this length and put a long breaker bar on it, and on when you should be using this ratchet to bust the bolt loose, or using an impact gun. You know, if you're using a 3/8 drive with a long breaker bar on it and you like misusing the tool and don't know how to use the tool, then yeah, you probably should try to buy all Snap-on. But if you use these tools properly, they work, they hold up. So anyway, I'm Brian916. Thanks for watching my videos. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.